sag his hand up midway through the third quarter on. What do you think the impact of that was on your half-court set?
Well, I thought in the third quarter we started getting a little separation. We got up 41-29 at the end of 3. And obviously they were a little concerned with Kasey's ability to penetrate and get to the rim. So they kind of sagged in, which gave us a lot of good looks from 3 throughout the game. And we didn't shoot it great. We were 5 for 21 from 3, I believe. So I think we shot it better. We could have got much more space. And I thought several times we ran that, a couple sets where we closed the 2 guys and ran them through the middle. And we got a lot of good looks from that, but we didn't shoot the ball at a high level to get a lot of space. And then let's be honest, the one thing they did on their side that they have to be happy with if you're evaluating the game despite losing, they were incredible on the offensive boards, their physical strength. They beat us up there, and we gotta address that. And that gave them a chance because they could not score in a half-court set. They had 1 basket in a half-court set in the first half. They had 2 out-of-bounds plays they scored on. They scored on foul shots, and they scored on 2 offensive rebounds. They had 1 field goal in the first half off a half-court. So they couldn't score off us half-court. Patricio, who's banged up, we're going to China April 17th for a tour of 9 games in 11 days against the Slovenian national team, the Chinese national team, and the New Zealand national team. And the doctors already told him he can't go. He's got to sit out 6 weeks. He's got such bad tendonitis. So offensively, he's been really raw to push off. But he did a great job on Jason today. Jason was 1 for 14. Kasey, but Justin, him too. That's how good he is. But he's really good. He's really going to Virginia. He's a great player. I know him from the camps over here. He's terrific. He's terrific. And he helped. He guarded him some. He guarded him most of the game. And they, and he had big tough shots. And then when he drove, he had to go over some length. He had trouble trying to lean in and finish. So, and take nothing away from him because he's a great player. Most of the times you're not going to do that to him. But he did a terrific job. This is the same thing if he scored 26 and Justin had 22. Be the same thing as him getting the numbers he had and him getting 3 today. When you say he's the best player on your team, I mean maybe the best player in the D.C. area or one of the best. So that was just an awesome defensive job, and people understand the game, they understand the value of what he did today. And now I'm spiraling. I don't even know what the question is.
We don't get to see your team obviously that often. Could you tell me a little bit about something about Mr. Hill, the way he controlled the offense? It doesn't seem like he has a lot of guys that can handle the ball, so he's really under a lot of pressure.
Well, I agree with you, and if I was playing against us, I'd probably run, like we do a lot to the point guard, run off the big guy and double, so if they throw it back to the big guy, it doesn't hurt you anyway, and now you get back and then deny the ball. I would try to do that to us. I would try to get the ball in his hand, double off of Landry or Joel, one of the 7-foot guys, in the backcourt, make him give it up to Landry or Joel and deny him the ball, and see if that guy can pass and dribble. And that might be effective against us, and it's worked for us 2 games in a row against Montrose and against La Lumiere. But he does a good job controlling the ball. He's very quick. He's also hard to trap because he's so fast. But I thought he made huge shots today too in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter we were really struggling. He hit that little drove and hit that little turnaround floater over the top. He made big baskets, and he's showing why he's one of the premier guys in the junior class in America. And I think a lot has to do with tomorrow. If we can close out tomorrow and he has another big game, I think he's got a legitimate chance to be on somebody's top 10, top 15 team. If you win this tournament, he's the MVP of it, and right now he's got 1 leg to close.
Hill, who was more difficult to go against? They're 23 or 24. They switched them up on you late. Who do you think checked you the best?
I don't know. It's about the same. They're both real long and real strong, and for their size, they're really quick too. So it's about the same.
Coach Boyle, 13 years you spent in New Jersey. You come 1 year to Florida. You're now 1 win away from a national title. How big a turnaround, I guess, has this been for you? Or not so much turnaround, I mean, what has this been like for you in the year you've been in Florida, from New Jersey to Florida?
Well, I was saying yesterday, my son Kevin's home watching the games on TV, and he played with Kyrie and Dexter Strickland in North Carolina, Kyrie at Duke, and Michael Gilchrist, and he knew how good we were defensively at St. Pat's, those teams, and how tough the kids were. And that's been a year-long process, which we're finally starting to see the dividends now. We almost didn't see that all year. It's this actually, the time off was actually good for us to really get into it. I actually brought him to guard Kasey in practice and piss him off and get dirty and get physical, and he started going, he wanted to kick Kevin's ass. And it just, because it got in a mindset where he wanted to really, he started to guard. A lot of times, the knock on him was he didn't really want to guard. He'd take plays off in history. He's really guarded in this tournament and wanted to challenge the guard. He did a great job on Drummond yesterday, number 2 from Lalamere, who Cincinnati was looking at the day before because he Southern Illinois coach got fired. So since he's ready to possibly offer him a scholarship, and if you've seen yesterday's game, he looked invisible, and that was more because of him than because of Drummond, and because of the help defense and hedging. And then, you know, so that's probably the big thing. But for the transformation of finally getting him to guarding and pick it up right away, like we wanted, because that causes a lot of confusion, a lot of problems with him getting the ball in bounds. It lowers the shot clock. A team like Stu's teams are always very well disciplined and very well coached, and he, not in a bad way, he likes to control each possession, and that's been very successful for him. But we want to make them have less shot clock, even if they do get it up, because they're not usually trying to break when they throw it over. They're trying to bring it back out and run another play. So if we don't steal it, there's no damage done. So if we go for 10 gambles and we get 2, the other 8 times we're still back in defense. As long as we're in good condition, it doesn't hurt us at all to press them. You know?
It was a big play with Kasey had to sprint pretty much the full court to foul to stop a dunk or a layup there. Talk about that, and you talk about how your defense played getting him to guard.
Well, I think that was big. I think if I'm right, because that kid made most of his fast, I think he made 1 out of 2 on that possession. You know, and that's in a game like this, that's a big point. You know, and instead of just giving him a dunk, he'd come and get a foul from behind and had to make the shot. But you know, again, getting back to the defensive thing, you know, we grew up when I first started coaching, you're competing against St. Anthony's and Coach Hurley, who's had tremendous success and obviously he's in the Hall of Fame. And to compete against them, you know, you had to kind of model them, and you had to be just as good defensively because you were going to play a 50-point game, 55-point game. And we played them one year where it was 4-0 us in at the end of the first quarter with nobody holding the ball, and 5 ACC or Big East guards. And it was 14-12 at halftime, you know. So it was just a dogfight because everybody studied each other's plays, everybody guarded. It was intense as hell. The pressure was college shots. It was really difficult games. And you know, we were able to get success there, beating them 7 out of 13 times, which nobody's ever done against St. Anthony's. And you know, we're trying to carry that here and get that mindset that we want to be great defensively, so we can compete. So if we don't have quite the talent level that a Finley or Oak Hill has, then we could still beat them because we have such good defense that we have a shot every game. So that's what we're trying to install.
Hey, Coach, how were you able to keep them settled in the 4th quarter when they made the run and actually taking the lead? How were you able to keep everything settled?
Just keep playing. Don't let all the fans or the players getting hype get to me, and just try to calm my team down and just run the plays that he tells me to run.
Yeah, I thought he was really mature there. He didn't settle, and the biggest thing there was his problem in the past too. He tries to make too many plays, and he gave the ball to Joel Embiid, who had in 19 minutes he had 7 rebounds, and he had to catch and dunk there. Okay, and he got fouled and made the foul shot. You were down 1, and that possession put us up 2 and gave us. If we missed there and they score, the whole thing could unravel with tension and pressure. And that kid, I thought, did a great job. He has not played 4 minutes the whole season. The big kid who came in. He's played basketball for 8 months. He will, you know, he will be a lottery pick one day, that kid.
Coach, I had a chance to interview and talk to Kasey when he was at Mount Dora Bible, 7th and 8th grade, playing varsity. And one of the things that really came across was he was a very humble kid. He was a good person, and everybody I talked to just kind of marveled at his personality and just not letting a lot of the attention get to him. So now that you have him, he's a junior in high school, one of the most respected players in the country. You're used to dealing with a different type of kid up in New Jersey and New York, where I've seen some of your work previously. How do you kind of translate? And you mentioned a little bit of that about your son. You know, how do you get him to have maybe some of that instinct and that edge that you're accustomed to having, and just talk about what kind of a young man he is off the court?
Well, 2 things. I think one of the things we did when February 5th came was our last game. We went to a thing that we did about 10 years ago with St. Pat's where every single drill you were getting plus and minus as if you didn't help on a screen, you didn't take a charge, you didn't rotate out. So you're running your, excuse my language, running your ass off if you didn't do those things. You know, so everything was a plus and minus. So every drill became so competitive because one team was running and one team wasn't based on the score. It wasn't by baskets, it was by, you know, where you belong in the court defensively and so forth. I thought that was really helpful for getting our mindset right. I mean, the biggest difference I think is You know, at St. Pat's, as it moved on, we started having some kids that were, you know, better and better in the classroom, more suburban type kids, like Kyrie's a suburban kid. Michael Gilchrist is really from Summerdale, not Camden. But overall, we had a lot of city kids there that didn't come in with the same, they were bright kids, but they were often in public school systems that didn't have the resources, and they often came in behind grade level, and we had to catch up. And here, I knew we were in trouble. The first grades, I got a grade list of 19 players, and I think we had 17 of them with a 3.3 or higher. And I immediately said, it's going to be a long year. We're going to struggle, we're going to be soft, and we have too many guys that are good students here. And the reality, I'm kidding, I'm half kidding because I'm stereotyping, but the reality is that's a true story. That's how many kids are doing good in the classroom. But I think the kids in South are a little more laid back, and that's just, and people in the South are nicer. I mean, I'm a northern, it's true. They say hi to you at the tolls and everything else. They pack your bags in Publix, it's ridiculous. But the reality of it is here, he's still a really humble kid. And, you know, I was talking about Patricio yesterday. He's like, runs the whole school. He's like, shows all the freshmen around. He's running every event on the school, like a student body stuff. And it's just incredible, the kids we have. And again, he's either one of these guys. If you said to me tomorrow, oh, they met your daughter, they like her, and they're going to get engaged, I'd be happy because I know it's a good person. And I know they're going to do the right thing and act the right way. I mean, both these guys are humble. And he hasn't changed at all. Almost want to get him a little cocky, and get a little bit on the court. But Gilchrist is great that way. He is the nicest kid off the court. On the court, he'll rip your head off. And that's what we're trying to get him, to get so passionate on the court. And he's starting to get that now. It didn't bother him so much when somebody scored off him early in the year. So that guy had 30 on you in a fall game. You got to destroy him next game. That's got to be personal. And he's starting to get that now.
Kasey, is there a college player or an NBA player you look at and model your game after? Anyone you admire as a point guard?
I just try to watch all the point guards because they all come off ball screens, they're all looking to pass or they're looking to shoot, and they all run their team. So most of the point guards in the NBA I just try to look at, from like Jason Kidd down to the young ones like John Wall or Kyrie Irving. You
don't have a favorite? You don't have a guy you see?
Point guard.
No? Okay.
I probably have a top 3, which is Westbrook, John Wall, and Chris Paul.
Cool.